What's going on, you guys? I'm Ryan Ackerman. I've recently acquired a small supply of fake tanning lotion, and on today's video, I'm going to be talking about Puzzle Rush fails. So on chess.com, there's this Puzzle Rush survival mode thing, and how that works is you just solve as many puzzles as you can correctly in a row. And then once you get 3 wrong, then you have to like restart essentially. So it's a game to see how far you can get in your Puzzle Rush score. And so as I got to the more advanced ones, I faltered on a few of them, and I'm going to be recapping the things that I learned and all that good stuff. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. So here we go. Puzzle Rush Survival Fails. Okay, so episode number 1. And for each one of these here, my agenda is I'm going to be talking about what I did well at, and then critiquing where I messed up, and then reflecting on it for a bit. And so talking through what I learned and what I'm going to do different for next time. So part of this too that I hope will make it more interesting and more of a just good experience for you guys listening and everything is I'm actually going to show you the positions ahead of time, and then you can pause your video right here and have a go at it. This is the second puzzle, and then this is the third puzzle. I just can't help but laugh because this one here I especially botched it. So I'll save the worst one for last, I think. All right, we have these different ones here. Let's take a look at it. And also wanted to kind of bring up this one. So if we say, for example, this page here, for example, today, my top score is 58, all right? For today, the top scorers globally, one guy got 76, 69. I probably should have taken a screenshot of it because I was probably in the top maybe 10 to 15 out of everyone globally last year. I mean, last year, yesterday, same difference. And so I would have placed right about here. So it's a score I'm proud of. And once these get harder, I mean, they definitely get harder, that's for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we'll go like this. And then here we go. Game report, go like this, and we are there. Neat. Okay, yay, everything worked. Okay, in this position here, what I did well at was I figured out the different targets and themes that might come up. All right, so right here, the rook is under a little bit of fire since the queen is protecting it, so I figured it might involve like a remove the defender type of a tactic. And I also noticed that the king may become sort of an issue if we can go queen here check. And I thought, maybe there's some weird scenario where they have to block with their knight and we can take the knight. So I actually had a pretty good overall understanding of it. And then it became a matter of, all right, well then where does this knight move? And so I settled on the second best move, which is far less effective than the than the right move here. I played this move, knight to b8. And my thought process was, well, the queen can't really defend the rook anywhere it goes because it can't go here, here, or here. There are 2 problems with this. One thing is the queen can go here to defend the rook. So right from the get-go, just really, really dropping the ball there. The other thing that I missed too is this queen can also come over here to g4 and then return the attack on this rook. As it turns out, the right move then is actually this move, knight to e7. A pretty handy, nifty little resource here, because now if the rook takes, then you do exactly what I mentioned earlier, here check, the knight has to block, and then you get this, king moves up, and now we can take the rook, since our queen is also guarding this square. All right, so let's self-reflect on this for a moment. What did I learn here? I learned that my analysis and description of the situation can be pretty handy and reliable, and it's just important to list out all possible ways to sort of go for this. I think I zeroed in on knight to b8 too fast, and I didn't want to explore the weird looking knight to e7. The second thing I should have done better at was after right here I should have double checked my logic and tried to figure out, okay, can this queen actually go somewhere where it protects here? And I think I have a personal bias towards like not wanting to come to a logical conclusion in a way when I'm out of ideas. This was essentially the only thing I could think of that had a chance, which is understandable since this really is such a strange looking move. And so I just got to be mindful of that, if I only see one idea, I should be aware of my tendency to zero in on it too much and not be willing to let it go if it turns out to be incorrect. So let's check out the right move here. It's this here, knight to e7. Oh, I just did that. That's right. Figuring out as we go along, people. Yeah, so that's this whole puzzle. That's how that one went. Okie dokie. Next one up. Here we go. This puzzle right here. So, what did I do well at this one? I was pretty entertaining on my stream. That was nice. I'm especially salty right now because I just played in a tournament and I dropped a mate in one in the last round and botched this totally one endgame. But that is neither here nor there. So I played this, and I noticed that, there's probably some sort of, again, idea of like deflecting the queen away from the defense of g2. Since if we can go here, it's mate, right? And so I immediately zeroed in on this move, and then here takes, and then the idea of rook to d1. But there's a really clever, fancy way they can get out of this that I just failed to look at. Pause your video if you like and try to see if you can find the way out of this. There's one move that totally saves the day for white. What is it? If you said bishop to g5, you would be right. So again, I think I kind of locked into the same pattern of just only noticing this one idea and then not being really willing to look at alternatives or even ways that they can defend it. Sort of showing my bias there. But the idea is that after this, white gets just enough time to resolve this issue with the rook, since now this bishop is blocking our access to g2. So in this situation, the best we could do would just go like this. Here takes for check, here takes, and then queen takes. And yes, we have a slightly winning position, but not nearly as good of a result as the ultra clear just bishop takes g2 here. After which queen takes back. Now we do this, and after the bishop blocks, we can take this guy, and then queen takes. Now here check, queen comes up here, here check, here, and then mate. Neato burrito. We're on to the next one. In this one right here, this one was the most pitiful of all of my different calculations. If I may just jump around briefly. So if we go back to this one thing that was on my mind with this is I was watching this other streamer, Benjamin Bach, the night before, who's a grandmaster, very, very strong player. And I noticed that sometimes he would just sort of play moves so confidently, and then he wouldn't double check everything. And so I thought, all right, what would Benjamin Bach do here? I bet he'd go like this. I bet he would just say this is it. But you got to be a grandmaster, I guess, to really know what you're doing to that extent. And so yeah, again, I should have just double checked it and tried to see if there was any not just one idea, but at least variation within that idea. Otherwise, it become too locked in. All right, next one up here. So in this one here, I noticed that, of course, the king is under attack, and we can go like queen to h3. We have this idea to go rook to b2. And I also noticed that the position is kind of dire in that we're actually down by 9 points straight from the get-go, which is a really unusually high, material difference. White has one extra pawn on this side of the board, and then 3 more here, so a deficit of 4. And then they also have an extra rook, so that's 9. So in order for us to win on this puzzle, we're going to actually need to win a total of 11 points. And so perhaps the thing I did wrong right off the bat is that I didn't really think that was plausible. And I was unwilling to accept that it might not just be the mate. So kind of in an abstract sense, also zeroing in not just on the idea, but the overall goal at play. So the right move here is queen to h3 check. Okay, I played this move, and I believe this was the last one, and then it gave me a little pop-up that said, new all-time high score or whatever. And I was furious. I was like, what did I miss? All right, let me explain my thought process on this. I thought that after going rook to b2, that they were going to take right here. And as it turns out, they don't have to give up their queen for no reason at all, actually. They can just go h4. And I don't know why that didn't occur to me. The idea is that the queen is then prevented from going to h3. And it's not like I thought, well, if they go here, then I get to do en passant, and won't that be nice? Just completely right over my head. I thought that after going to here, their best chance would be here. Now, I wasn't completely off the mark. This actually is their second best move because the threat of going right here is just so strong. So I guess, again, I kind of locked into the idea of one defensive resource of idea for them. And so that kind of got me in trouble here more than once in different ways. So after rook to b2 here, yeah, they can go here, and then it isn't necessarily clear how white can hold the balance after this. But what they can do is go here. They can actually go bishop to e6, or a few other things. There's a few different problems with this. Let's go with this one, bishop here to e6, and then we just can't really get our queen in. We're still down by a factor of 8 points, so the fact that we can even hold a draw is kind of remarkable looking. But the thing is, we can actually just go check right here. This comes over, and then we can go queen to f3, threatening this mate. Queen takes, knight takes here, check, down by 8 points, and then we're gonna have a forced perpetual draw after here and then here check. Now, if the king instead opts to go to the square h1, then now black is winning due to the unstoppable mate situation here. So, in light of that, then, if they go h4 here and then we take like this, then yes, we have a draw. My thought process on this was, if queen takes right here, then I thought, all right, well, now I get to take back this way, renewing the threat to go here, and only now did I consider the idea of pawn to h4, after which, to my credit, I identified that this would be a forced win, now threatening to go rook takes f2, and then, so like if they do nothing, then we have this check, king comes over, we go for this check, king comes right here, mate, or right here, and then we also have mate. It's pretty nifty. I did also, to my credit, resist the temptation to go queen here, trying to zigzag in the queen this way, due to this resource, bishop to e6, attacking the queen and also guarding the h3 square. So, yeah, in the right way to do this, you're supposed to go right here check, but my problem was that after this and then king to e2, I just didn't really see the follow-up after here and here, because the queen is no longer going to have access like the g5 square to deliver this check. And the idea of just taking the rook like this seemed really off base, since we have to compensate for an 11-point deficit in material. So simply just winning the exchange didn't really seem like a great idea. But the idea is actually sort of slow. I mean, we're capturing a rook, and normally that would be a really big deal. But after this right here, the point isn't necessarily just to win the exchange in those 2 points, but rather it's to play right here, queen to g2. And then you have this really slow kind of grind of just, we're actually going to go into f3. So essentially, the move knight takes e1 is not with the intention to round up some material. It's this move here is actually part of a 3-move plan. It's not just a 1-move thing. This is part of a 3-move plan, because after here, queen to g2, and now this very, very strong threat of queen to f3. We're now down by 6, so if right here and then takes, then we just gain back 4, so then we're down 2, and then again, this is probably kind of why maybe subconsciously, I didn't see this whole part of it, but subconsciously I was rejecting this, because I just thought you have to be going for mate. But the thing is, even though we're down 4, we can still round up the extra material after here check, and then king comes this way, and then we do this skewer and pick up the rook. So that would do it. And then if they go here instead, we still get to do that same kind of skewer idea, or alternatively, we can even pick up this knight down here on c5. So, yep, that's gonna do it. That's gonna wrap up this Puzzle Rush fail recap. Hope this was fun and interesting. Hope you learned some stuff, and you know, you just subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and watch some more of these. I'm just trying out different things in these series, trying to see what sticks. And at least for me, I like to see it when the expert messes up, and so I figured other people might like to see that here too. All right. Until next time, play lots of chess. Ciao.